You probably use one of these bait buckets, but the design is flawed and you're killing your bait. How to fix it? This one. Check out this video of this bait bucket floating in the water and see if you can see what's wrong. Did you see it? Two big problems with this bait bucket. The first is that it floats cocked up at an angle like this. You only have this much water inside, which means that your bait is struggling to breathe with the oxygen contained in this much water. The second problem is that there are no ventilation holes here in the top to allow water to enter and then leave through the existing holes right here, meaning that any water that gets in has to come in here, and given that there's no other holes around because you don't want the water to leak out when you lift it up, it's going to just kind of rotate in there and not flow through and refresh the oxygen content that's going to keep your bait alive. My wife's going to kill me for using up all the food color, but here's what we want. We want that bait bucket to float as horizontally as possible to allow for all this additional water to be in there. We also want water to enter from the direction of the current and then go out, keeping this refreshed and the bait fish alive. So here's how you fix that. The first thing to do is to drill a few holes in the top of the bait bucket to allow water to enter in the direction of the current flow, and then it'll go out these holes right here. The second thing to do is to add weight to the handle. You can see I've got a little 1 ounce sinker right there, and that will help pull the bait bucket level. You'll need to tune this for the size of your bait bucket and the type of bait bucket. Once you do that, you'll be able to float that bait bucket horizontally with this much water in there, keeping the fish alive. Now, one thing to understand is that when it's floating like this, it's going to drag more when you're paddling your kayak. The basic design of this was to be cocked up so the water would flow around as you paddle. But you're not going to do that. You're going to put it in front of your seat, between your and back of your seat. You're going to put it somewhere because you don't need the extra exercise of dragging this sucker behind your kayak. Let's look at these side by side. Here's the unaltered container, no holes in the top, no weight. Fill it with water, and you notice how it cocks up, and when you spin it around to look at the front, the handle is pretty much out of water. Here's the one with the weight added, and you can see that it floats much lower in the water, but the water level is fairly level across the extent of the bucket. And I've got probably another inch between where the old water line and the new water line. So now there's plenty of water in there for the bait to use, and I've got the flow through these holes that I drilled in the front. Now you need to tune this to your particular bait bucket. This one I've got 3 ounces of weight on, and it looks like that's going to work out just about right. If you've got a better suggestion, go ahead and put it in the comment below. None of us like to see our bait die before we can use it. Take care.